Hey everyone, today I am finally getting around to doing my book review for the month of November, even though it's December. We had or no, I guess it is December book club. Anyway, we had our meeting last week. It's been kind of a crazy week, so I didn't have a chance to record, but I'm getting to it now. So for this month, we read The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. I've heard mixed reviews on this book. Even in our book club, we weren't uniformly in agreement about how we felt about this book overall. Although I think that by the end of it, I had convinced most of the group to look at it from my perspective. Not that I'm trying to, it wasn't like an argument, but okay. This is a memoir, so it's allegedly a true story. I find it hard to believe that the author can remember in such detail all the events of her childhood, especially the opening scene when she's 3 years old. But we'll let that part go. I found this to be the most depressing, upsetting, frustrating book I have ever read. If I had not been in the book club and had to participate in the conversation, I would not have finished this book. One of the biggest problems I had with it is that there's no plot, really. And I mean, even though it's a memoir, and so you don't expect it to have the same framework as a fictional piece, there still should be some sort of climax, resolution, and conclusion. But it was basically a collection of horrible experiences, one after another, after another, after another. And I think what was most disturbing to me about this book is that the author, Jeanette Walls, was basically abused and neglected by her parents. She was never physically beaten, but she was neglected. There was a scene in the book where they fight over a stick of butter because that's all they have to eat. They went days without eating. They were dirty. They were homeless for periods of time. They lived in shacks. They had no running water. They had no bathrooms. I mean, this childhood experience was horrific. But her father was an alcoholic. Her mother, while not addicted to any drugs, has a serious mental illness, and completely enabled their father to be an alcoholic and not take care of his family. They dragged them all over the country. They had no continuity except for the craziness that was their family. But throughout the whole book, she loves her parents and she defends her parents, and even in the dedication, the acknowledgments, she thanks her mother. I'm grateful to my mother for believing in art and truth and for supporting the idea of the book. Is she crazy? And so at the beginning of our book club discussion, people were saying that it was kind of nice that even though this family was completely dysfunctional, that they had this great bond. To me, I felt like this was an abusive relationship where you beat down someone so badly that they actually love their abuser because they don't know, they're cut off from support, they're cut off from any chance of a better life, so that's all they know, and it's like beating a dog, and the dog still loves its master. That's how I felt. I know a lot of people obviously like the book. It's a bestseller, and it won some prizes. But I guess that's what makes the world go round. We all like different things. I mean, look at this. I mean, obviously I have a makeup channel, and I'm doing a book review. We all like different kinds of makeup. We all like different kinds of looks, and we're all gonna like different kinds of books. But this was pretty bad, and I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it unless you want to be depressed and read about a child who burns a large portion of her body at 3 years old because she's forced to make hot dogs for herself because she's starving and no one else will feed her. If those kinds of stories don't bother you, I couldn't read this book and then go to bed. Like, I had to put the book down and find something else to read because it was so upsetting. So anyway, we've been going on a kick of sort of depressing and melancholy type books the last few months, and so we kind of met this month and said no more. We don't want to read fluff, but we need something a little more positive, uplifting. So, I did some research, and the book that we're reading for next month is called Salting Roses. Can you see that? No. Oh, there it is. Salting Roses. There's the cover. I got an iPad. So, my husband got this for me. So I bought the book. It's the first book that I bought on the iPad. Very exciting. So, it's by Lorelle Marinello. It's called Salting Roses. And the premise of the book, this is going to sound depressing as well, but it starts with a girl is, as a baby, is put in a coal bucket and left on the doorstep of her uncle's house. I'm not even sure if these are really her uncles. And she's raised by her aunt and uncles in a small town in Alabama. And on her 25th birthday, she comes to find out that she is the kidnapped daughter of some kind of mega financier, gajillionaire family from the Northeast. And I'm not sure what time period this is set in. I think it's, from what I can tell, earlier in the 20th century. But it looked interesting because, I mean, other than the fact that she's dumped on a doorstep as a baby, she's raised with love. And the reading discussion guide had some really interesting questions. Things like, would you treat people differently if you were rich? Do you think people would treat you differently? I'm trying to see if there's some other questions. I'm just consulting my reader's guide here. And Mimi is upset because she's not on my lap. Questions like, what would you do if you suddenly inherited a large amount of money or won the lottery? Does money or the lack of money influence your perception of a person or their character? Do you think it's possible to have great personal wealth without your economic status influencing your attitudes about how you feel about yourself? Stuff like that. We have a saying, money talks and people listen. How would our society be changed if more decisions were based on character and need instead of the bottom line? So, I just thought that would make for a very lively discussion, a little more fun than in past months. So, Salting Roses for January. So if you want to read along, that's what we're reading. And then a book that I read this month that I love, was recommended to me by a viewer, Tracy. I'll put her screen name below. She's a very interesting person. We've been messaging back and forth, and she's living in France. She's from Ireland, I believe, and is getting her, I think, her PhD in something really hard, like chemistry or something, a hard science. So very impressive. And she actually has the time to read. But anyway, she recommended to me A Year in the Merde by Clarke. It's fiction, but it reads like a kind of a memoir, if you will. And if you don't know what this word means, it's French, and it's a bad word for poo-poo. So there you go. I don't know who's watching these videos, so I'm going to try to keep these clean. So it's about a guy from England, who a young guy in his 20s, who is sent over to Paris for a year to work for a company and work on a project there, and then it's his experience about trying to fit in with the Parisians and understand how they see the world. And considering I'm going to be visiting Paris this month, I thought it would be a good read, and it's really funny. Having never actually met a French person, I'm not sure how accurate it is. I'm slightly now terrified actually to go to Paris because they don't seem like the nicest group of people. Hate to generalize. It's so funny. I wish I should have marked the bad I should have marked the passage I wanted to read to you. But there's a scene where he finally figures out the way to get the French waiters to be nice to him is to treat them like he doesn't care at all. In fact, he says if you smile at them and be friendly, then they look at you like you're some sort of retarded child. And I mean that in the literal sense. And then they look at you like, okay, and then they ignore you. So the key to getting people to help you in Paris, he says, is to ignore them and act like you don't care. But anyway, the book, it's really funny. It's about his experiences living in Paris for the year, and Tracy, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is a great book, and I got it from the library, and now it is overdue. So, oops. And then, if you're looking for a fun, I have to say I haven't read a lot of books to talk about this month because I've been reading. It's over. I can't reach it. It's on my nightstand, but I've been rereading all of the J.D. Robb in-depth books, which I started talking about a couple months ago, and there's like 40 of them. So I just keep reading one after another, and until I get to the end, I'm going to be a little OCD, and I'm not going to stray off the path too much. But I was looking at my bookshelf, and another book series, mystery series that I want to recommend to you. This one's a little less, you call this a soft mystery. There's not a lot of blood and gore involved at all. In fact, there's none. But it's fun. It's witty. I read this out loud in the car to my kids. I do gloss over, and my husband, I gloss over some of the romantic parts. It's a series, and the first book in the series is called Open and Shut. And it's by David Rosenfelt. And it's about, if you like dogs, you'll love this. It's about a defense attorney who prefers the company of his best friend Tara to the people he encounters in the courtroom. Tara, a golden retriever, is clearly smarter than half the lawyers who clog the courts of Passaic County. After his dad, New Jersey's legendary ex-DA, drops dead in front of him at a game in Yankee Stadium, Andy discovers two unexpected legacies: a fortune of $22 million that he never knew existed, and a murder case with enough racial tinder to burn down City Hall. Struggling to serve justice and bring honor to his father, Andy must dig up some explosive political skeletons and an astonishing family secret that can close his case and his mouth for good. And so if you like dogs, you'll love this book, this series. The characters are funny. There's laugh out loud moments. The plot line is very good as well. The mystery part is excellent, but it's great. And because it's a series, you can really get to know the characters well. So anyway, I also want to point out that during my last book chat, I mentioned this book series by Aaron Elkins, who is considered the father of the forensic anthropology mystery series. And he actually stopped by and commented on my video. My heart just about stopped when I saw that pop up in my comment box. So you never know who's watching these videos. So, Mr. Rosenfelt, if you're watching, love your books. Love them. He needs to write about a Weimaraner, though. In every book, there's a dog featured in this. And this one, it's his golden retrievers in every one, but then there's different dog breeds throughout all the other books. And I haven't seen a Weimaraner or a Westie, Mr. Rosenfelt, so would like to see those if I could put in a request. So anyway, I hope that you got some book titles out of this, and I hope all of you are having a great month of reading in December over the holiday season. Hopefully you'll get some reading time in. As always, if you have a title that you think that I would love, please, please, please recommend it. Like I said, a viewer recommended this, and it was a great, great read. So thanks for watching, and